Good evening. On this occasion of International Women's Day, I, on behalf of Geography and You magazine and my personal behalf, wish all the women in the world a very happy International Women's Day. International Women's Day signifies the role of women which play in our life, be it a mother, sister, daughter, or a partner or a colleague. Their role and contribution to the society is pivotal, and we as a men should respect their dignity, and should take place on this day to ensure safety and security of every woman in the world. Today we have a very eminent panelist discussion on gender justice. This is Pradeep. I've done my Masters and MPhil in Cambridge from University of Hyderabad. Basically 8 years of experience in research, monitoring and evaluation. Published book and papers on gender, livelihood, development, economics and financial inclusion. Currently heading the research team of Geography and You magazine. And we have among us Professor Sachidanand Sinha. Welcome, sir. Sir is professor at JNU School of Social Science, have 40 years of rich teaching experience and research. Sir is a panel member of several committees of various positions of Government of India and several others. Sir has published extensively on education, livelihood and other issues. He is also the member of Editorial Advisory Board of Geography and You magazine since 2000. Welcome, sir. And we have also Sulabhna Chattopadhyay ma'am. She is founding member, chief editor of Geography and You magazine and president of Lights Research Foundation since 2001. She is a panel member of several committees and various posts. Published several books and publications on gender issues, and she has worked MPhil from JNU on maternal health and work. And she is currently working on many gender issues along with Professor Saraswati Rajamam of JNU. Welcome, ma'am. And as you can see, the panel is a mix of men and female, but focus is on male because the thing is that when men speak of gender justice, they treat it as feminists. That is not the issue. Men can be feminist. Now, we request our panelists to say something, and in meanwhile the panel discussion is interactive, so keep on posting your question and suggestion. We'll take care of them. Sir.
So sir, I would like you to first, I think most of our queries have already started coming in, and we already have a list of questions, and I am getting questions here as well. First, like if we could just maybe discuss what do you understand by gender justice? What is it that denotes gender justice?
Basically, gender justice refers not only to women, it refers to men and women both. So basically, what I understand by justice is that the asymmetrical relationship that you have in society, in workplaces, in all other spheres of life, that should be, in fact, in terms of opportunity, should be made equal. And that is what I would say, that if people have, men and women both, have access to opportunities without even reference to as to whether somebody is a man or a woman. That is what, if you have access to opportunities, that is what I would say as justice. Okay. So that is what I would think, according to me. If you have access to opportunities in a situation where you have unequal kinds of excesses, either culturally or economically or socially constructed, if they could be tackled, then you can have a course to gender justice. Yeah.
Okay. So Pradeep, what is the theme this time? If you can just highlight the UN Women theme.
Yeah. As I was pointing out, there is unequal distribution of resources and everything, and UN Women this year has put in theme for International Women's Day as Women in Changing World of Work, Planet 50-50 by 2030. We know that in 2015, 185 nations has signed Sustainable Development Goals. And number 2 Sustainable Development Goal is gender equality. And gender equality is a cross-cutting theme across all the 17 SDG goals. Currently, we are seeing that the work participation rate of women in the world as well as in India is declining. In fact, in India, the work participation rate is declining since last 3 decades and it's lowest since independence, and it is around 23%. And we'll be surprised to know in Delhi, the work participation rate of women is 10%, the capital of India. Same is the case with global world. So
Which is, I think, 24%?
24%.
Globally, 24% is the work participation.
Right.
So, and
So-
we are not very
Right.
far
Ah.
behind as well as global. So why do you think, sir, that we have such low work participation? What is it in Delhi? If it's 10,
10%. So
I mean,
called
Delhi is supposed
Well,
to be
International capital of
Yeah,
India.
yeah, it's a, you know, one has to look at it in a larger context. You know, the Indian context is quite different from the rest of the world. Maybe you have similar situation in the rest of South Asia also. One is that, you know, the women participation has been declining precisely also because of the fact that there is a sizable segment of the younger women who in fact went to work earlier are now in fact moving into education. You know?
Okay.
So, you know, you can see it in terms of the GER in education, in terms of the duration of the stay and the declining dropout rates. So, the fact that, you know, at a very early stage they entered the workforce earlier, that is not the situation now. So, therefore, you know, that segment, which in fact went to work earlier, is now moving out to education. They will certainly get back to work at some stage. Once you know they have completed their education at whatever level that you have. So that's one aspect of it. But then, you know, the larger situation, the larger context has to be also seen. That in an economy or in a society where unemployment is the major issue,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is becoming bigger and bigger. So men and women both are getting affected.
getting affected.
And in that kind of a situation, women are likely to in fact suffer more, precisely because of the fact that, you know, you have
Less
you have
access to
less
Yeah,
access,
yeah.
and
land
they
and
have
resources.
There is a
less-
certain discrimination.
Yeah, so discrimination also, and also because of the fact that, you know, they get into some kind of a competition. You know, the jobs which in fact earlier were more preferred by women could have gone to women. Now there is, because of the kind of poverty kind of a driven kind of situation, men are willing to take up that job as well. So you know, so that could also
what,
be happening.
what kind of jobs? Would you say like nurses? You have a lot of people.
No, nurses, of course. Now you have a greater proportion of men nurses
Ah,
coming in.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so that may not be the situation with this particular sector alone. But you know, several other sectors. You know, one can say even in agriculture, which in fact employs a very
70,
large
more than
proportion
70% of the
of the
workforce.
workforce of the women. So you know, there are a number of operations which in fact were carried out by women. You know, now because of the declining wages and kind of unemployment that you have, and you have also disguised unemployment of a very large scale. So men could be doing the job for the same money, you know. So therefore, you know, they tend to replace women.
Yeah,
you know.
so there is a preference in any case when a man
Yeah.
opts for that same salary.
Exactly.
So probably we can show that where we show the global ranks.
Yeah.
Pradeep, can we just have a slide maybe?
On global rank, this is also reflected. We have the, out of all the gender equality index and all index, the rank is lowest, 126 out of 148 in gender equality index, and similarly in case of gender gap index, India's rank is 101 out of 136 published by World Economic Forum. Similarly, for social institution and gender index, India's rank is 56 out of 186. Even our southern countries are doing better than our rank.
True.
So, sir, what is the reason for this low ranking of India in all these indexes?
You know, because you see, one will have to check up as to what are the parameters which have been used in different indices. But if you look at, say, the UNDP, it basically primarily looks at three major components: access to education, access to income, and the longevity. These are the three basic parameters, which are then adjusted to sensitize the question of gender. And then they have added many more other parameters. So if you take the whole stock of the situation, then I think India's position has, I would say that it is a transitory phase, where women are certainly catching up. Gradually their conditions are improving, but still they have miles to go. So on all these parameters, women tend to, in fact, lag behind men. Insofar as education is concerned, that the sector that I have been closely working on, I see that there is more or less a gender parity, but that parity comes in largely because of the kind of reported statistics. In real ground situation, how it is really translating into gender parity, a sheer number or presence in the school itself is good enough to in fact say that okay, you have parity between men and women in terms of enrollment. That I would suspect that there is a lot that needs to be really looked into. Even girls there tend to lag behind, although if you look into the enrollment ratios and all that, they show some in certain stages they show better than men. But that's only the reported statistics, and educational statistics is highly suspect, I would say. Highly suspect. Because you don't take the name off the rolls if the girl is not coming to school. That could also happen with the boys, because there are many other conditionalities, and nobody would like to be in the firing line of the government. Therefore, you have all this purging that goes on. But in several other areas, say if you look into, recently there was a report that women get 25% lower salary than men.
Gender gap.
Gender gap. You have the slide. You have in terms of access to capital, or access to loan, credit, and all that. Women are nowhere. Absolutely. In terms of their participation at the institutional level, be it in the
decision-making
and all that, legislation and all that. Everywhere, the statistics are all before you. We tend to be talking about women as the mother and the goddess, and the woman as Durga and the Saraswati. But this is only a ritual that we have been performing all through. In fact, after that, we forget about that.
Yes.
So that's
no, I have this little bit of, I want to ask you, because you're the other half, and we belong to this other half, right? So now if you ask me, is it necessary for women to work? Is it necessary? If women indeed take care of their homes, what is wrong in that? Why is it that women have to work? I just want to know it because I know it from our side, why we need to work. But tell me, what is it that, why you look at it? It's a fundamental kind of question. A fundamental question.
Okay. I would rather ask a counter question. Why will you not allow man to work at home?
Nobody is not allowed.
So the point is that it is given to a individual's choice. If somebody wants to work, or somebody wants to take care of home, there should be absolutely freedom to choose that between men and women. So what I'm really talking about is the fact that this social construction that women should be taking care of home and men should be looking after things outside. This kind of stereotyping is not proper. This really pulls the women down in terms of their dignity. Precisely because you do not accept their freedom. Women bear children. That's fine. Men can't be doing that. That's all right. That's a biological fact. But then everything after that is a socially constructed kind of situation. So I would say, as at one point of time, somebody interviewed me, and the report was that here is a professor who changed diapers. You know, so you know,
Interesting.
yeah.
Really
So what was wrong in that? You
What's
know?
wrong?
Yeah, I didn't find anything wrong in that. I mean, I rather enjoyed it. You know, because you know that gave me a little more time to be with my children. You know, so changing diapers is as much a privilege to me than to a woman. You know, so or to my wife. So I think you know it's a matter of choice.
Question of freedom.
It's a question of giving a person a choice, you know, and get out of that stereotypes. You know, I would rather prefer and cook at home and look after children and do everything. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why it has to
I
be
think
woman?
this is for most of our viewers who probably, you know, there's a lot of people out there who believe in a particular kind of what is wrong in not allowing women. Women have not been traditionally allowed to do certain things. For example,
Allowing is something, you know, that I have serious of.
yeah. So
No,
now you have
who
cleared that. Yeah.
who is anybody to allow or not allow? You know, it's the person's choice. You know, you should take me to all opportunities. I should access all the opportunities and then make up my mind whether
Yes.
I want to work or I do not want to work.
Yeah, in this connection, our Nobel laureate Amartya Sen has quoted development as freedom.
Yeah.
Women should be free to choose their partner, choose their work, choose to work or not to work, and it should be absolutely their choice
Yeah.
rather than compulsion and stereotypes.
Exactly.
And while coming participation in decision making, we can see
There's a slide that you want
there
to
is
show.
a slide on that.
Yeah. Okay.
The women's participation in decision making, be it executive, legislature, and judiciary, and
I think
services.
this is not the slide. Yeah, just go back a little bit. Back a little bit. This one. No, just one more. There.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just go a little closer to kind of look at all the
aspects.
aspects.
So we can see that in Supreme Court there are only 2 women judges out of 30. Similarly, in High Courts the number is 12%, and there is 8 High Courts when there is no women judge at all. And if we talk about representation in legislative assembly and in there are only 8 out of 45 ministerial positions in central government, and only 11% females are elected to general Lok Sabha election. While we talk of 33% reservation for parliamentarian and legislative assembly, the bill is pending now. We don't know when it is so the day of light. Similarly, in assembly level also, the number is even less. 14% in some as Bihar, Haryana, Rajasthan have 14% representation, and there is no women representation in Mizoram, Nagaland, Pondicherry.
But somehow I have that a problem with it. Mizoram, Nagaland are fairly high as far as women empowerment
Women is concerned.
Why
Literacy is concerned.
literacy is concerned. So why is it that we don't have decision-making capacities with women, whereas the society काफी औरतों के प्रति सहानुभूतिशील उदार है?
ये कहना बड़ा आसान है कि लिटरेसी के बढ़ जाने से, लिटरेसी एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पैरामीटर है एम्पावरमेंट का। पढ़ाई लिखाई होने से ही सिर्फ केवल आपको एम्पावरमेंट नहीं आ जाता है, लेकिन वो एक नेसेसरी कंडीशन जरूर है। और समाज में अगर उस तरह की विचारधारा है जिसमें कि आप वुमेन को आप एम्पावर्ड समझते हो, तो उनका पार्टिसिपेशन स्वतः होने लगता है। लेकिन ये भी कहना कि पूरा का पूरा नॉर्थ ईस्ट में या कुछ नॉर्थ ईस्ट के कुछ इलाकों में जहाँ पे कि मैं समझता हूँ, जहाँ तक मेरी अपनी जानकारी है, कि उनका लिटरेसी लेवल वगैरह काफी बढ़िया रहा है, बहुत बढ़िया रहा है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो कम्युनिटीज हैं उनके अंदर ट्रेडिशनली असिमेट्रिक रिलेशनशिप नहीं था, तो पढ़ाई को वो उस तरह का दर्जा नहीं देते थे जिसमें कि हम ये समझें कि साहब उससे मेन जो है वो कमजोर हो जाएगा और औरत जो है ज्यादा मजबूत हो जाएगी, ये बात नहीं था। लेकिन जहाँ पे आप डिसीजन मेकिंग की बात करते हो तो वहाँ पे सत्ता का सवाल आता है, वहाँ पे पावर की बात आती है। और जब पावर की बात आती है तो हम देख चुके हैं बहुत सारे सोसाइटीज में कम्युनिटीज में कि कुछ चीजें इवन जो टिपिकली मैट्रियार्कल सोसाइटीज नहीं है उसमें कुछ डिसीजंस वुमेन के पास हैं, लेकिन जहाँ पे जो सब्सटैंटिव डिसीजंस हैं वो धीरे धीरे मेल के हाथों मूव करता गया है, जिसको कि हम कहते हैं मैट्रिलिनी, यू नो। सो मैट्रियार्की से मैट्रिलिनी की तरफ, जहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टी डिसीजंस जो हैं और भी जो बाहर के बारे में जो मुद्दे हैं वो कोई जरूरी नहीं हस्बैंड ही ले, हो सकता है परिवार का कोई दूसरा मर्द ले रहा है या वो जो वृहद परिवार है या तो उसमें तो मेरे ख्याल से ये कहना कि नागालैंड में लड़कियां पढ़ी लिखी हैं, बहुत पढ़ी लिखी हैं, लेकिन वहाँ भी पितृसत्ता है ना।
Oh my God, that's terrible. I mean, in a sense, you're saying you're kind of overturning whatever we believed about the Northeast.
अब देखिए कि हम कहते हैं कि केरल में बहुत ही अच्छा लिटरेसी है, एजुकेशन का पार्टिसिपेशन बहुत अच्छा है, 92% है फीमेल लिटरेसी है, और किसी भी आप अगर लेकिन देखिए किस तरह के प्रोफेशंस में आप उनको देखना चाहते हैं। वहाँ पे प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे कोई चॉइस नहीं है। हायर एजुकेशन में आप कहाँ देखते हैं लड़कियों को, तो वहाँ पे फिर एक तरह का सेगमेंटेशन हमको देखने को मिलता है। तो हालांकि वो एक टिपिकली एक मैट्रियार्कल और सोसाइटी रहा है, खास करके पूरा तो नहीं, लेकिन हाँ कह सकते हैं कि एक सेगमेंट नंबूदरी का समाज वैसा ही रहा है, लेकिन नंबूदरी समाज के अंदर भी हम इस तरह के चेंजेस देख रहे हैं। नायर समाज में तो है ही, वो बिल्कुल अलग जैसा दिखता है। तो ये इसको ये कहेंगे जो 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 पैट्रियार्कल स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारे इकोनॉमिक फॉर्मेशन का और इकोनॉमिक चेंज का जो 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 कोर्स है उसका एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट हिस्सा है ना। इसलिए जहां कहीं पे भी जो डायरेक्शन ऑफ चेंज है उसमें वो मर्द जो है वो हावी होने लगता है, औरत जो है वो धीरे धीरे कमजोर पड़ने लगती है। तो हम आपको खाना अच्छा देंगे, पहनने की स्वतंत्रता दे देंगे, घूमने की भी स्वतंत्रता दे देंगे, लेकिन डिसीजन मेकिंग में हम आपसे पूछ जरूर लेंगे, यू नो, अदब से, डिग्निटी से, लेकिन उसके आगे हम आपकी सुनने वाले नहीं। ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट।
तो अब थोड़ा सा अगर if I can just ask you, this is off the topic and we have lots of questions, so maybe we could also take a few questions. But before that, आप बताएं कि तमिलनाडु, वेस्ट बंगाल, शीला दीक्षित in Delhi, so you know we have had women leaders as such, yet it never inspired another crop of leaders elsewhere as well. And also when you're saying decision making is not given to women, these women stand out as what then? I mean, how has that enabled itself? ये थोड़ा सा अगर आप
ये तो खैर देखिए, अब हिंदुस्तान के पूरे साउथ एशिया का ये एक आयरनी रहा है कि जब पूरे साउथ एशिया में एक समय में हर जगह जो है एक महिला प्रधानमंत्री थी। हिंदुस्तान में इंदिरा गांधी थी, वहाँ पे श्रीलंका में एक और लेडी की मैं नाम भूल रहा हूँ, माफ कीजिएगा, और बेनजीर भुट्टो थी उस तरफ। तो एक वक्त था या एक फेज था जिसमें एक के बाद एक, और आपके बांग्लादेश में भी है ना, जो जो दो ही महिलाएं हैं जो कभी एक बनती हैं दूसरी बनती हैं। तो आप देखिए कि पूरे साउथ एशिया में ये टेंडेंसी हमको मिलेगी, और मेरे ख्याल से यूरोप के मुकाबले बहुत ही बेटर लगता है, एक दूर से लगता है। बट द इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन इज हाउ द सोसाइटी looks at politics itself.
Yeah, I mean, how it has.
And say the decision to in fact feel somebody or show confidence in
as a
candidate, as a prime ministerial candidate. We all know, if we go into the history of how Mrs. Indira Gandhi was chosen to be the prime ministerial candidate, you know, it was because of so many factors. So there are many factors which work, you know. So you don't elect a person just because she is a woman or you want her to have
so you're saying
circumstances plus, you know, your second question, why there are very few women entering into politics. That's precisely because of the fact that, you know, generally what we see is that politics is a dirty place,
Yeah.
and women, of course, should not enter that, because and also because of the fact that their visibility and their participation in public life has been constrained because of all these factors which have been historically there. So naturally, in proportion to that, you may find so many of them, in civil services and increasingly more, which is a very positive thing, in various kinds of services, but not so many in politics.
And also,
So,
proxy, it's more of a proxy.
and as long as politics, and if you look into the kind of politics that we are into, unfortunately, I mean, and we all have been, everybody, our listeners have been also watching the kind of a discourse that is going on.
Yeah.
I would say that, do you really see the discourse at any level of civility? And if it is not very civil, then, I would say women are far more civil, socially also, and they would refrain from getting into that kind of a discourse. So, and if you don't get into that kind of a discourse, you are not a potential leader. So that's what
That's become the need of the hour.
Need of the hour. So, yeah.
Sir, you was telling that there is good percentage of participation in services. We have the numbers.
Yeah.
30% females are IES officers, 14% of females are IAS officer, and similarly the number goes on, and there is good chance. And one interesting thing is also there in Panchayati Raj level. We know that there is a mandate that 33% representation should be there.
In
And
certain states
it is more.
It's more.
But there, are the real work being done by the women? That is the question. Women are the face.
Yeah, they're the face.
So that is the question.
Well, that is the reality at this particular moment. And if I would rather go back 5 years earlier, I would say that this was, the same picture was even larger,
Yeah.
But gradually, as women and their participation in Panchayat
Yeah.
is through these reservations and all that, is turning out to be real. There are real actors, even at the Panchayat level, meaningful players who are really entering into the scene.
Yeah, that even
And
we've seen in
yes,
our studies.
yeah. So,
that there are.
yeah. So they would, I mean, once that space is created, maybe because they have themselves been there. So today maybe she's just a face, or maybe a
Exactly,
faceless
exactly.
face.
Yeah,
But
they-
tomorrow
Huh.
I see a greater potential. I mean, I see a girl who just passed out from Delhi University or some other place, goes back to her village in Haryana, and she takes now she's going to contest the election. And she makes that
Sign of
conscious
change.
choice.
Sign of change.
It's a sign of change. And educated girl going back to her village and
Entering into
politics, even at the Panchayat Raj. An illiterate lady, down south in some Andhra Pradesh, she and coming from a Dalit community was threatened so very often, but she stood her ground and won the case against the perpetrators, who in fact appropriated the proceeds from the sale of local resources from the common property. And today that village has over about 1.5 lakhs of annual kind of a recovery. That is precisely because and there were men all the time, but they did not have the courage to in fact take that kind of a step. So therefore, reservation is only a means towards ensuring that you give that space. I mean, that constitutional space creates provision for somebody to enter. And it will take time for things to in fact translate into action on a larger scale. I believe greater the participation and and the visibility, I think women would be seen in much better way, or maybe they would be much more active.
And
They are
I think-
active.
So there's one thing we've done, पंचायती राज पे हमने अपना स्टडीज जब किया था, तो हमने ये देखा कि जो जैसे पहली बार जब the woman comes, she's proxy. Generally, it's the husband
Yeah.
who's doing from the back. But once she's coming second time elected or third time elected, फिर वो अपना decision खुद लेना शुरू कर देती है. So now that change is there. So what you are saying is same thing, that once they do start coming, and it's like they understand the need कि मुझे करना क्या है और कैसे करना है, तो उसकी ideas somehow they kick into place.
Yeah.
And then they take the actual leadership.
जब उन्हें समझ में आ गया, आपने हो सकता है कि इलेक्शन हो रहा होगा तो उस समय किसी सर्कमस्टांसेस की वजह से आपने कह दिया भाई दबंग आदमी जो मर्द है वगैरह मेरी पत्नी लड़ेगी, उसने आपने फाइल करा दिया, उसने कभी बाहर जाके नहीं देखा। आई थिंक सबसे बढ़िया जो इसमें एपिसोड मुझे नजर आता है वो ये है कि जब लालू जी ने अपनी पत्नी को तो हो सकता है शुरू के दिनों में कुछ लोग हमारे जैसे लोग हंस भी रहे थे कि ये क्या हो गया, लेकिन देखिए वो पॉलिटिक्स इतनी उनको समझ में आती है और मेरे ख्याल से लालू जी को उतनी नहीं आती होगी, माफ कीजिएगा। और जिस तरह से उन्होंने आखिरी के कुछ दिनों में डिसीजंस खुद मोबिलाइजेशन किया, तो ये कहना कि वुमेन पॉलिटिक्स में सक्षम नहीं हो सकती है वो गलत होगा। इन्वॉल्वमेंट की जरूरत है, वो माहौल मिलेगा और वो माहौल क्रिएट भी करना पड़ेगा। वो केवल मर्द नहीं देंगे, औरतों को जूझ के लेना भी पड़ेगा, मर्द तो कभी देने वाले नहीं, ये तो मान के चलिए आप।
So the message is be bold and be free.
Yeah, you have to accept. You have to ask for your place.
And we have a
Don't
special issue on Panchayati and Panchayati Raj and Women. Viewers can read Geography and News special issue on Panchayati Raj and Women. And we have a section on gender justice. You can refer that.
Okay, so can we just take a few questions before we move on?
Yeah.
I'm going to just read a couple of them. You can choose a single mother.
That choice is yours.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do a single mother has a sole responsibility to take care of her child. How far she is secured in making decisions regarding her child. This is by Pooja Shri Mishra. Regarding herself and this contemporary society, what is her, basically, if she's a single mother, what is it that she can do?
She's a single mother. The single mother should have all the legal and social rights.
And there is a Supreme Court judgment, recent Supreme Court judgment, which allows single mother to raise her child and
also take decisions.
And recently, Ministry of Women and Child Development has issued a legislation that the passport can be made in name of mother who is a single mother for a child.
That's fine.
And
that's absolutely
the point is not about legislation, it's more about awareness.
Yeah.
More and more people should know about these judgments. People don't know these judgments.
Not only that, people, even our institutions must ensure that they implement it. Because after all, these institutions are also dominated by men. Who tend to overlook all these provisions.
Exactly.
So, one way of becoming aware and things percolating downwards is that, they can, when they have a visitor in their office, so, they put forward, okay, these are the options.
Exactly.
So, even if you're a single mother, you have a right to do this, and that is what becomes a source of empowerment. So, I think, there has to be, at both the levels, institutional level, as well as at the level of social awareness, and much more than that.
And I think more than awareness also, in case of single mother, it should be the pride of the mother.
Exactly.
It should not be seen as a stigma, being a single mother.
Yeah,
they should come openly.
That is what the institutional, if the institution also, like he's saying, that if they award them that kind of a status, that kind of importance, then automatically the society will also move around it and award that kind of security to a single mother. Now we have one more question which says that we do have a male-dominated society by Sharafat Rubani. I don't know if that requires a comment. And then the other one is by Ravikant. It says, what is the role of man? Does he have to take on the cause designated to a woman to give her a place? Or is there an alternative? Is there a dilution of manhood? Our men are going soft?
No.
Or what is this? I mean, what is it
it's
that you want?
Question of choice.
Yes.
You kind of touched that when you said
I've already touched that, but I don't think
it's
men are
question of freedom, choice.
It's absolutely a question of freedom.
So it's again how the society interprets going soft.
Yeah.
So what used to be said in our villages. बीवी जोरू का गुलाम ही है। अगर आपने कोई पोजीशन अपने पत्नी के पक्ष में लिया तो जोरू को गुलाम हो गए या इस तरह वो माइंडसेट्स जो हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं वो तो बदलना पड़ेगा और कहीं ना कहीं मेरे ख्याल से जब सही बात है तो चाहे अपनी माँ के खिलाफ भी अगर किसी मर्द को या बेटे को अपनी पत्नी का पक्ष लेना पड़ता है तो उसको लेने में कोई हिचकिचाहट नहीं होनी चाहिए, चाहे कोई भी। तो उसको मैं नहीं समझता कि वो सॉफ्ट हो रहा है, वो सही बात को सही तरीके से देख रहा है ना। अगर जो सही है उसको सही तरीके से देखना चाहिए। और मेरे ख्याल से ये जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा है कि बहुत मुश्किल से मर्द जो है अपनी जमीन में किसी को आने देते हैं, है ना। मेरे ख्याल से वो एक माइंडसेट भी निकलना चाहिए। वो आपको जब आप समझते हैं कि दोनों बराबर हैं और बराबरी का दर्जा आप जब आप देते हैं तो मेरे ख्याल से ये सवाल अपने आप में वहीं पे इसको कहना कि men are going soft that
तो आपके मतलब men can be also feminists in that case?
Should be.
Or feminists
Proud.
is only women?
Yeah.
Men should be proud feminist.
Yeah, but at the same time, let me tell you one thing. There are certain experiences that, as a man, I don't have.
What do you mean?
Like about women. Say there are certain experiences that women have in particular.
Okay.
When in a given kind of social circumstances. So they have a point of view, isn't it? They look at the world the way they see it, the way they experience it. As a man, as somebody who has been socialized to be a quintessential man, also with all those limitations and freedom, also tends to have some kind of a worldview. So I think both these worldviews are important, and therefore if a man takes the position of the woman, it doesn't really amount to becoming a feminist. Okay. It only says the most obvious thing, which should be interpreted within the framework of what we called initially gender justice. That is what it should be. So I for one would like to be a feminist, but then I also understand that I have only a certain kind of a limited view on that, and knowledge and experience on that, and therefore I can only be
a partial
participant in that engagement, and a woman to say that she is a feminist or she entitles to be a feminist is again should be understood in the larger vantage point that she takes, because she also represents a certain kind of a class, certain kind of a view, certain kind of an interest, within that larger framework. And all these interests are important, and they're all divergent views from women, from men are important, and unless and until they are really put together and there is a proper discourse that happens, an engagement that happens with respect.
So basically, don't you think that somehow in the entire gender justice and whatever we are doing in this country, man has been kind of left out because they're never involved in any of these. Like if you look at the Ministry of Women and Child Development, it's women-centric.
Why should be?
Why is it so women-centric?
No, it's women-centric precisely because of the fact that women have been lagging. So we got to put in a little more emphasis on it. So that's where I don't have absolutely no problem if there is a man heading the department. Absolutely no problem. I personally will have no problems with that, no issues with that. It again is a representation of the mindset.
Yes.
That sense it's a kind of a feminine thing, so the woman perhaps would do better at that. I recall reproduction is absolutely feminine. Men are only a visitor to this whole process. But I recall, this was just about two and a half decades ago, there was a report that in the labor room there should be male nurses rather than female nurses, because the kind of experiences that women during the labor pain they had from their own, from the female nurses was not very positive.
Okay.
So and this I have myself experienced in standing and waiting for my son to be born, in front of a hospital where my son took nearly about 1.5 days, I was just standing outside with the luggage, and so all that was going on. I was particularly cheesed off. I mean, I didn't find it to be very, very palatable, but nevertheless, I mean that's one episode. I mean, I'm not generalizing. So.
But I just
Yeah.
want to add one thing here, like in Anganwadis, if we see all our Anganwadi work, it's adolescent child and pregnant women. They give information to, this is better nutrition, this is whatever. They call the mother-in-laws also and they give them information. But somehow men are not called in that.
Yes.
Why is
Counseling.
not, why is not the husband also called in
Yeah,
Anganwadi?
that should be made absolutely compulsory.
So when I say policy से मर्दों को हटके अलग रखा गया है,
नहीं,
तो मैं ये
वो
नहीं कह रही हूँ कि
बिल्कुल वो गलत है, वो बिल्कुल गलत है। और मेरे ख्याल से जिस विभाग में, जिस डिपार्टमेंट में हम लोग हैं, वहाँ बहुत पहले, आज से कोई 20 साल पहले, हमारे कलीग ने, सरस्वती राजू ने पेपर लिखा। उन्होंने कहा कि मैन का जो रोल है रिप्रोडक्टिव प्रोसेस में, ये बहुत अहम है। और मेरे ख्याल से वो एक पहला ऐसा पेपर था जिसमें उस बात को बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से उभारा भी गया था और जिसका एप्रिसिएशन भी हुआ। तो हम वो लिप सर्विस तो कर देते हैं, मतलब जो पॉलिसी के लेवल पे, लेकिन जेन्युइन एंगेजमेंट जो है वो लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से वो अब धीरे धीरे माहौल बदल रहा है। मेरे ख्याल से इसको ऐसे भी देखना चाहिए कि अब चूंकि न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज हो रही हैं, पहले एक जॉइंट फैमिली में ये जो पूरा जो ये ताना बाना था रिप्रोडक्शन को लेके, ये सास और बहू के बीच रह जाता था। तो अब चूंकि न्यूक्लियर फैमिली में I think the only option that we have is the following: that the man has to accompany his wife for medical checkups, for antenatal care and so on and so forth. Which I think things are now changing. And gradually I think men are also becoming very conscious of the fact that they have a certain role to play. So it's a gradual process, a slow process, but I think over a period of time it will happen.
Okay, so now we could have some slides maybe.
We're talking about the
We can talk
wage
about
gap.
Wage gap. We can talk about the wage gap.
We have the data which shows women carry out at least 2.5 times more unpaid of household and care work. Their work is not accounted. That is the data for both developing and developed countries. And there is a global study by Ernst & Young which takes 22,000 organizations worldwide, and it reveals a picture that those organizations who have women representation in their body, in boards and
Boards
others,
and all that.
they tend to earn more revenues, and they are paid 30% less salary. So there is a gender wage gap in that level, and we know there is a gender wage gap in agricultural work also.
Yeah, at every level.
MG Narega also, the wage gap is there. That also excludes women from working, coming to the working. So if you want to equal participation of women in the working place, we should promote equal pay for both male and female, and there should be conducive atmosphere for working, like security, safety, security, and no sexual violence and all these things. I think these things will take our theme of International Women's Day, that we want to promote 50-50 in working world by 2030. That should be
that is well said. I think that should be the kind of a goal. And I believe that in the formal organizations also, we do find that there is discrimination in terms of the wage, the pay, salary that is paid on one account or the other. And but for having said that, I would also add that even the formal organizations over the years, they have really become sensitive now. Now that they are not only giving maternity leaves, but they're also giving paternity leaves, on all that. Maybe the paternity leave is only a way out for the men to enjoy holidays, and they do little at home, that could be another big. But then that makes that conveys the meaning that you have to be taking care of women at home.
But I have a question here, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, sir. In the government rules, they have something called child care leave. Child care leave, which till 18 years of age, the mother can take at any point of time till the child's boards and whatever else. You can take leave. You can take a leave up till a year. But the father cannot. It's only the mother who can take that leave.
Yes.
Now, two things happen. One, a father is equally responsible for a child's education.
True.
Right?
And nurturing.
And second, if you keep a mother who is in job out of service, if you're going to keep her out of service for a year, that means she's losing a lot of understanding of the job or requirement of the job, which is
If
needed
not the experiences on the job, but at least in their own departmental reckoning, somebody was on leave for so many years.
Yeah.
So that itself,
Yes.
that narrative
Different
can
perspective.
go against the
against her,
woman,
and it's like you are not a dependable kind of a staff because you are always on leave.
Yeah.
So that kind of undermines the position of women once again.
Right. That's
Right?
absolutely.
So why is then again we come back to policy, where policy is made without a thought as to if you're really wanting women to work and be at par, and there's this gender so-called justice, parity, and then at the same time you're enabling a system whereby the parity does not remain parity.
Yes.
True. I think that option should be made available for men.
Men also.
Men also.
The very fact that it's only given to women, in fact, goes on to reinforce that you are only looking at her in a certain kind of
Household work.
a certain kind of activities which she is traditionally seen to be performing better.
Designated.
Or designated.
I think there's one more slide. If we can just show that picture again, policy. This is for the Swachh Bharat
Swachh
Abhiyan
Bharat ad.
ad. It's a policy one, which we will just show you a slide of. This one.
Yeah.
The slide shows माँ घर में घूंघट तेरी साथी फिर क्यों सोच खुले में जाती means we have designated women to be in घूंघट.
This is a stereotype.
Government, this is government.
Government act.
Yeah.
Government act.
I would say this is extremely objectionable.
Extremely. We have several other
there are
examples also.
different ways through which you can say the same. You can say the second line, not the first line.
Not first line.
In
First line
Ghungat
means-
Tera Sathi, is something,
Why?
because you want her to get excluded from the public space.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of an
Remain in home.
remain in home. That's the kind of an ideological twist that we are seeing it in our society, unfortunately, in the last few years, which is very, very disturbing. Yeah. And that comes from a kind of a government
policy.
Minister of Women and Child Development.
one should in fact take them to the court. Yeah.
So now the next thing we can just talk about maybe a little bit about the violence.
Violence,
against,
yeah.
Why it's like do you have any it's increasing day by day violence against women.
Yeah.
So is
To
it
give
this
statistics.
transition? He can just give us the statistics.
Yeah.
But
That is statistics is again NCRB statistics.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is only tip of the iceberg.
Tip of the iceberg. And it's also, it shows that over last 5 years it's increasing. More than 3,23,526 cases has been filed, and we know many cases go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And it is also found in National Family Health Survey around
Right.
2015-16, in which is 4, which tells that there is more domestic violence, sexual violence, and the causes maybe are dowry. Dowry is one of the prominent cause, and that is also a reason for women not working in conducive atmosphere because there is sexual violence at workplace. That should also be changed. There should be no tolerance from women. We want to advise or give advice to our reader. There should be no tolerance,
Zero tolerance
zero
on
tolerance
sexual
against
harassment.
any violence from women.
No,
And-
like sexual harassment. There
Yes.
will not be a physical violence.
Yes.
There is a whole lot of other forms of violence that goes around which we don't even notice. We got to be sensitive enough to, in fact, understand that and take a position on that.
And there are several types:
Yeah.
physical, psychological, social violence,
yeah.
and they go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And we also request all the men to be sensitive and say no to any kind of violence against women, because they are our mother, they are our sister, they are our daughter.
I think
And
even despite everything else, they have the right to equality.
yes,
I think that's more important than having a relationship with a woman. It's okay, whatever they are human beings, and they are
They-
just like you,
yeah,
just as talented, and maybe in some
They have a view,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
have an opinion,
yeah.
and one should learn to respect that opinion. That's very important.
So
But you know, on you know the what you were saying, the
Violence.
statistics,
Statistics.
the increased violence. You know, there are two aspects of it. One is that, you know, increasingly
yeah.
women are getting aware of the legal provisions, and also and they are becoming aware of the fact that, well, this amounts to violence. So now the reported violence is also going up.
Yes.
The reporting
Okay,
of the violence,
okay,
you know,
okay.
which in fact was not the case
Yes.
until quite some time. So yeah, that could be one of the
One of the reasons why we are saying violence is going
Yeah.
up is better reporting.
is better
Better
reporting,
reporting.
increasingly
More
better
reporting.
reporting. Also because of the fact that now you have multiple kinds of media. You know, the media is also pretty active on this particular front. So that also helps in
Yes,
in,
yes.
in getting some kind of a coverage, some kind of support. You know, and therefore a woman has reasons to be to feel that, okay, you know, she's not alone, and therefore she can perhaps go through. The schools and teachers are getting sensitized. You know, people in workplaces are getting sensitized. So I think, you know, things are changing, and there are, and this could be also because of that. But there is another aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that women now have also learned to assert their position.
Yes.
And the fact is that, you know, you will have no violence if I were to take things as given. You know,
Okay.
you know, now that I say, okay, I say no to this. No, it's not good with me. I'm not okay with it. The moment I say I'm not okay with it, then and somebody resorts to violence in order that, you know, I agree to the position that. Now that is what is also causing violence. You know,
Okay.
you know, because, you know, we have learned. Women are now learning to say no.
Yes.
You know, so that's an important aspect of it. The third aspect of it is that, you know, the visibility of women in public spaces, that has certainly increased a lot, and I think it should further increase, because that will bring much more kind of a saner and a civil order outside. But the fact is that certain sections of men, you know, they don't take it very lightly, and they don't encourage it. They are not happy with that. You know. And there are a number of such episodes that goes around. So I think, you know, statistics are apart, but I would say that, you know, these statistics are also very, very. I mean, if you look at some of the states, such as, I mean, I shouldn't be naming them, but you can just work it out. You know, they just report very little violence, while we know that there is huge amount of violence.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, the
Underreported.
NCRB data doesn't go very well
It's
with the
underreported.
kind of NFHS
Data. NFHS is more.
You know, yeah, you know, because, you know, this is based on some kind of a sample, a very small sample nevertheless. But NCRB is only if the case has been taken to the police station. So, you know, there are two sides of it. And
I just want to add one thing else here about violence. It's three things you've highlighted. One thing I want is social angst, that we in any case have a very high amount of angst because unemployment and so many unaddressed
Frustration.
issues and mental health and so many things are there. In that, like, you know, you have something like visible in women who are working, you see a visible difference while the position in society is the same. So although she is getting better pay and being able to afford, say, a better phone, so even if you're driving in an auto and the auto person feels that she's a woman or she's a girl and she can afford something so good and I'm a man and I cannot, and that raises some kind of social angst about wanting to steal the phone, say, at a very base level. Right? And it starts from the fact that you are a woman and therefore you should not have a phone. that board.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So that also is part of the rising, I think.
Yeah, so what
Carbon
you
harmonics.
what you were really talking about, that you were talking about the fact that there are intersectionalities.
Yeah.
The fact is that there
Yeah.
is a rich person who boards a vehicle. I mean, say maybe a public transport or maybe on an auto. I won't rather.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just an
yeah,
example.
yeah, okay.
Not. I mean, they are very good auto walas. They take you home very
Yeah.
safely. And,
No, auto wala
yeah,
doesn't, no.
yeah.
Of course, there are very
Yeah,
lovely ones
yeah,
also.
Yeah. And majority of them are,
Yes,
trying to earn their
yes.
livelihood. But then the fact is that, I'm a rich man, and I'm carrying something, also creates a kind of a sense of deprivation
Yes, yes.
among the fellow. So
Yeah.
there is a general angst against rich.
Yes.
And
Which is why
within that-
demonetization was such
Yeah,
a
yes,
happy
in a
thing
way,
for the
way.
for
Because,
Personally
the
satisfying.
fact
yeah, it was
is
like
that
sadistic pleasure.
exactly, because the angst is a genuine angst.
Yes.
For reason being, I'm not holding them responsible. I mean, at some level, I would say that this anger is absolutely meaningless. But then the fact is that if you are a woman of the rich
Yes.
class,
Hmm.
then that angst becomes even more. And that's where there is the layer. Not many people understand that even within that class, the woman whom you're seeing is also within the framework of that class or that society is also very, very deprived.
No, that doesn't.
Within that,
Yeah, they don't see
yeah,
it.
we don't see
Perception
it.
is-
Yeah, we
yeah.
don't perceive that. We think everything is fine with them, but that's not the case. So therefore, she is doubly at the disadvantage. She is disadvantage because she doesn't have as good phone as her husband has.
Ah.
Number one. Number two, even the one which she has is being eyed by another fellow who thinks that he being a man should have had that. So she is at a disadvantage in both the situations. That's where I would say multiplicity or maybe double kind of disadvantage or multiple disadvantages that women and down the social class, the ladder or the pyramid, you have that accumulative effect. The women at the bottom have suffered from all kinds of disadvantages.
Social,
And if you-
political, psychological,
everything.
economical,
Yeah.
cultural.
Yeah.
So,
So that
maybe
would
we
be-
could just look at this, like you're saying, multiplicity. We have some advertisements. Maybe we could just have a look at them.
Arts.
The advertisement, there's one which says the CEO one. Yeah, this one is also okay. Can we just have a copy of that one? That made one.
Yeah.
Here.
Mhm.
Book my buy.
Woman is seen as an object. It's a very
So diamonds
Pathetic.
are useless.
Gift your wife a maid.
A maid.
maid.
A maid.
Maid
A
is a
maid
woman.
is a woman,
Woman.
number one, and gift your wife a maid. So therefore, a wife's job is displaced by a
Maid.
maid's
Maid.
job.
Maid.
So your wife is supposed to do a certain set of tasks.
Yeah, you're
So-
right. You're
so
right.
therefore,
This is again a kind of a similar kind of representation that you have in the Safai Abhiyan.
yeah.
You have a similar kind of a stereotype. So that makes the wife, you want to make your
Wife
wife happy,
happier.
gift her a maid,
At the cost of others.
At the cost of others. So, I would have loved, if it was written that, give her a help,
Yes.
help her.
Help
put-
her.
help her. I
Use
mean,
your own.
maybe.
Mm.
Or maybe, why don't you share,
Yeah.
Take a commitment that you share the responsibilities in
We
the kitchen.
both will do.
Yeah, in the kitchen and in the household chores. Why can't they do that? But then objectification is such a real kind of a thing,
And it's
You have
more prominent in
objectification
Indian cinema
in
and
cinema,
art and
in
all.
art in every form. I think art, I would say, is not so
Not
much,
so much.
because art really breaks down. It's also a source of, I would say, reclaiming, the lost positions of the woman. But in a kind of a market-oriented kind of a society, you have buy and
A woman.
a woman
selling everything.
selling everything, and women shown adjacent, standing adjacent to a kitchen,
Kitchen.
and not that she could also be a pride owner of the house, but all by herself.
Yeah.
That itself is stereotyping,
Yeah.
and I would certainly object to all
Success
these.
is very demanding.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's
It's
another
not.
one.
It's not.
Yeah.
Success is very demanding, surrounded by 4 women.
It's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Success is
Success means that you have more women.
Very, yeah.
It's
So
not.
again, objectifying the fact that
Objectifying, yeah.
that women are.
That if you don't have many more women, in your life, then you are not a successful man.
Uh, Then we have another one which says, if you can just move that one,
Last one, I guess.
come a little closer. Which says this is the CEO
Spending
one.
time with CEO gets
See,
your
this
promotion.
is like, they've done this is Times job. Huh?
Times
We
job.
consider that it's pretty responsible Times Now and Times Group and elsewhere. But they come out with an ad which says, I spend more time with the CEO and got a promotion. CEO is not CEO. You would generally think the CEO is a CEO head.
Chief.
But that's the pun. The
Okay.
pun is that CEO is just some consultancy that they are providing.
Chief Enhancement Officer.
But
Uh-huh.
here is a woman who is speaking through this medium saying that I went to the CEO, which obviously intends you to say something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Intends you
Right.
to understand something else.
Yeah, because I understood exactly
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
you are now
Yeah.
explaining.
Yeah.
that. So I wouldn't have seen it that way. But then, not everybody who is searching for the job, so maybe, very look at the advertisement would mean that, there is a whole lot of sexuality which is involved in it.
Exactly.
So
So
you are
this is
objectifying women.
harassment in workspace,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and you are endorsing it in a way.
Endorsing, yes.
In a
Let
big way.
us look at in very, very simple terms, how many even government organizations have, and institutions have a gender sensitization committee.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
spite of the
GSCAT.
fact,
Yeah.
GSCAT,
Yeah.
or whatever you
Yes.
call it. We started from JNU, we may be called whatever, but then we are the first institution
To start it.
to start
Pioneering in that.
and we are still holding on
Continuing.
with pride in the fact that we have made our spaces much more secure for the women.
Women friendly.
Yeah, it's very women
Yeah,
friendly.
yeah, I think
So
that-
the
there's
girls
no-
could be there in the middle of the night to the library or in the
Anytime,
lab.
anytime, 24/7.
24/7. So that's what
That should be.
No.
That should be public place. Should be 24/7
yeah.
accessible
So,
for every woman in the world.
Exactly. So a serious scholar in science who has
Labs.
some experiment to be carried out in the middle of the night doesn't have to really knock at a male counterpart colleague to help her out. She can go all by herself and
Yeah.
do the job. That's what freedom is all about. So she can do science and she can do technology, and she is equally good at that than men, as good as the men. So this traditional segmentation, women should go for soft courses and hard courses. That gets absolutely broken. Isn't it?
Yeah, we say Sa Vidya Javimukta. Education liberates mind. So if education liberates mind, it should liberate mind in all aspects, in a holistic manner. And that should be the role of education. I guess education is that one of the solution to bridge all these gaps. And it is the starting point to break the shackles.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you would say that the state of education, we need another discussion on that. I think we should
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
the next time. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is
Why not? Yeah.
what is the state of education in this country?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of scope where education is concerned, but somehow that sector is still an untouchable sector.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to make concerted efforts. No political will is there to raise from the bottom. It's cosmetic, and the
Yeah,
real
and
issue.
that's
Quality
the
of
real
education.
issue is that we have begun to market, we
Yeah.
have begun to commercialize education, and a society which in fact has yet to attain 100% literacy. It begins with the premise that it can be marketed.
Yeah.
Society sure to do. So that's very important. But but we have this Beti Bachao,
Beti
Padhao.
Bachao,
Beti Bachao,
Beti
Beti Padhao. That's
Desired
another
daughters.
question.
Daughters too
Yeah.
should be
So
desired.
Yeah.
so how desired? We have a couple of questions that have come in, but I think we'll have to stop here now.
Yeah.
So maybe we could take this discussion to another day where we
Yes.
could do education as
Sure.
a mandate.
Sure. Be a privilege again
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
thank you.
very much,
Yeah.
audience and our panelists. Thank you for your concerted efforts and ideas. It will certainly enlighten our readers and viewers. And this discussion is obviously continuous, and it should be continuous, and we should focus on more and more discussions. And once again, happy International Women's Day to all the women in the world. Be bold, be safe, be free, and to men, respect all the women in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.